Abraham Lincoln was the 16th President of the United States. He served from March 4, 1861 to April 14, 1865. His rise to power was very unlikely. Born to a poor carpenter in a log cabin in Kentucky, he taught himself to read and write. Later in his life, he practiced law, and his arguments in the Circuit Court of Illinois were so compelling that associates urged him to run for office. Eventually elected to president, Lincoln was thrust into arguably the most trying time in American history, the Civil War. Of all his achievements, however, his most notable are the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment of the Constitution, which ended slavery in the United States forever. Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, in a small cabin in Hodgenville, Kentucky. When he was 9 years old, his mother died. When his father remarried, his stepmother encouraged young Abraham to read. He soon became very interested in the different stories he read, and he borrowed books from everyone he could at every chance possible. Lincoln used what he had learned from his readings to become an expert storyteller, a skill that helped him become very popular. In New Salem, Illinois, he earned a reputation as an honest storekeeper and became a community leader. His notoriety and his work to earn votes on the issues of public schooling and improved roads got him elected to state representative. There he noticed that many of the other representatives were lawyers. By borrowing some law books from another representative and studying them, he taught himself to be a lawyer in a very short time. Lincoln moved from New Salem to Springfield, where he opened his practice. In Springfield, he met Mary Todd, a socialite who would become his wife and the mother of his 4 children. In 1847, Lincoln was elected to Congress, representing the people of Illinois. In 1854, Congress made a law that allowed slavery in the new territories. Lincoln, who was against slavery, began to make speeches against the law. Stephen Douglas, a senator from Illinois, was making speeches for the law at the same time. The two men, both great speakers, engaged in a series of debates on the topic. While Lincoln lost to Douglas in the election for senator, the debates made Lincoln known. In 1860, this newfound fame helped him get elected president. In the 4 months that passed between his election and his inauguration, the southern states began to secede or leave the Union and started their own country, the Confederate States of America. It is the start of the Civil War. On January 1, 1863, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared that all slaves in the Confederacy were free. This strategic political move framed the purpose of the war as not just preservation of the Union, but a fight for freedom. In November 1863, he gave a speech in Pennsylvania known as the Gettysburg Address. It was a reminder to the people of the United States that all men were created equal, and Lincoln told the crowd that the soldiers who died there did so to ensure that the United States would live on. To many, it is the single greatest speech ever written. The Emancipation Proclamation freed the slaves of the Confederacy, but Lincoln wanted to free all slaves. Further, he wanted to keep the people of the United States from owning slaves ever again. He proposed the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which would permanently outlaw slavery. Congress voted for the law in January 1865. In April of that same year, General Robert E. Lee, leader of the Confederate Army, surrendered to the North, and the war was over. Sadly, just 5 days later, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, killed by a gunshot to the head from the revolver of John Wilkes Booth, a Confederate sympathizer.